Good evening, friends. In last class, we have discussed some of the concepts of learning. In today's class, let us begin with the characters of learning. So here, let us we see some of the most important characters of learning. Here, one is personal, academic, social and emotional, and cognitive. So in case of personal, we see most of the specific needs of a leader group, such a particular skills and disabilities for that is some of the impairments to learning. So here most of the personal characters that may influence some of the learning behavior. So in case of academic, we see how here the prior knowledge and some of the educational type and most of the learning goals we can study in case of academic. And in case of social and emotional characters, we may relate to the group or one of the individual. So here we see example of the social or emotional characters or some of here that is some of the group structure and self image and feelings of self efficiency and some of the mood. So these are the most important characters of learning. Let us move for uh, what are the characters of adolescent learners. So here we see physical, intellectual, social, emotional and psychological and the moral. So here we see by seeing some of the physical conditions, so we can understand how he is in case of he is in concentration or in other mood. So in case of most of them of persons, here we can observe in case of physical conditions he may be fit. So most of the students here, they may be a failure in case of the physical conditions. That's why here he must and should be here improvement in case of physical conditions. And let us be see in case of intellectual, he also most of the adolescent learners, they may be fit. And we see here in case of social, okay, most of the social development that may take by here searching of a social position, that is with some of the peers and their friends. So here most of the social position we can see in case of friends, and most of the uh, talking and the acting part of one of the behavior of a searching position of a one person with some of the peers. And here exploring more questions with the ethical and seeking peers who share the same background, they may be asked some of the questions we can answer here very most easily type. So that's why here uh, when we exploring some questions of sexual identity in visible or invisible ways. So here that's why here most of them they may be sharing here some of the feelings, how here the overacting to ridicule and some of the embarrassment and some of the rejection will also follows. And here most of the interpersonal skills are also being developed, and some of the fluctuates between a demand for independence and desire for a guidance and direction. And here some of the most of the social development takes place from one person to the another person. And we let us move for that is move for the emotional and the psychological development. Here we know most of the emotional development that will release by some of the energy and with the sudden outbursts of the activity. Most of the year emotional and the psychological development takes place by the self consciousness and being sensitive to personal criticism. So here their personal problems, feelings and experiences are they most of the these words, they may be influenced to the emotional and the psychological development. So here seeking approval of peers and others with attention getting behaviors, they may also influence the emotional and the psychological development. So next is moral development. In case of moral development, we see needing here the understanding of a person to person is it is here very necessary. Questions values and the cultural expressions and the and the religious teachings. So here most of the they may influence the moral development. And also here judging others quickly but acknowledgeable ones won't faults slowly. And these are also one of the they are also lead to the moral development. So here also the impatience with the pace of change and understanding how difficult it is to make social changes. So here most of them the when we change some of the social activity, it is at first time it will take place at a difficulty level. When we makes it practice at a time, it will leads into a easy way. These are the moral development. So let us move for the characters of adult learners. So we know when we reach to the adult, okay, most of the we get the results oriented behavior and the results oriented goals. So here they may have the specific results in mind for education. And next is self-directed, typically not dependent on others for direction. Why? Because here he is in when he converted to the adult form, he is not dependent on other persons. And here actually he takes self responsibility on their own, and he may lead their life easily. So these are the characters of the adult learners. In next class we will move for the next topic. Thank you.